is that when you have seen certain things happen in our community presence, medical presence, and certain conversations you've had with people, that you've had some confusion and some sadness, and that what you really need is a sense of freedom from exploitation, and your sense of protectiveness has arisen to want to protect people in your community from something that would corrupt their authenticity. Is that about right?
Well, I have I don't remember feeling a big sense of confusion.
Okay.
The confusion word does not feel like it applies to me, but I think ultimately what I wanted and some of my community wanted was for people to go through a long and very thoughtful process, and I'm not saying that people didn't, but we had young dykes of color coming to us, butch dykes of color coming to us, saying that they felt pressured to transition, and also that they thought it might be easier. You know, racism was enough to contend with. Why did they want to contend with homophobia? So on and so forth. And I'm talking basically, we felt more protective of our younger folks in our communities of color because of that pressure that existed.
So you felt protective of some young people in your community. I'm going to ask if you can turn just a little bit so that these folks over here can see you, and also so you can be on camera. I won't be able to see you as well, but I'll have to suffer through that. I'll just look at, so that you felt protective of younger folks in your community, wanted to shield them from,
still do.
Still want to shield them from.
No, still feel protected.
Still feel protective, yeah. And want to shield some of those younger folks from the pressure to transition. Okay. And I'm wondering also if you want to make available the richness of the years of reflection and the insights that you have gained after all those years. You alluded to that at the beginning, that you really wanting to share those insights so that they can benefit?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm wondering if somebody here would be willing to reflect back to Leah these things that she said, or some portion of it.
Leah, what I heard you say was that that you felt a need and a want to protect the younger butches from going along a path that maybe necessarily wasn't going to be what you thought a helpful way to be in the world. And then I'm not sure if exactly that it'd be helpful for you or helpful for them. I guess maybe I'm not making myself very clear right now.
Well, I heard her say that she felt a sense of protectiveness, that she wanted to shield some of the younger butches from pressure.
Exactly. From the pressure of transitioning into male.
Or from the pressure to transition.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I actually never wanted to shield them.
Okay.
Because I thought the shielding was the teacher. I thought that was what the learning was and the opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what I wanted them to do was I wanted them to make a choice from their spirit and their core.
Mm-hmm.
And to think about the long term. I didn't think it would be more helpful. You know, I wouldn't use that word helpful. I wanted them to feel supportive in their choice no matter what they chose, but I wanted them to have mentorship or older butch dykes to talk to about what we felt that choice might mean in the long run, and to have a dialogue, which I have had some dialogue with about what was the story about how they felt in their body. And did they truly identify with being female or the body? Was it something they had learned in community? Because I saw it happening more and more to the younger generation as opposed to people my age.
So you're really wanting to share the wisdom and the insight and make that available and offer a mentorship to contribute to their well-being. Did you want to reflect back?
I don't know if I'm off, but I heard you say earlier, too, that something to the effect that you didn't want to short-circuit the process. It sounds like you're trying to help the process and of people questioning and figuring out who they are and giving them maybe enough space to do so. with having both sides. Like, you know, and I could be wrong, it sounded like when you talked about back there with the medical community coming in, that it might seem like it's a easier path, but it might not be where they wanted to go, and maybe you're trying to create the space so that they can figure out where they really want to go, and give them enough time to kind of process it, maybe?
Well, this is what I just want to say, and I want to say to all of you, I'm an indigenous person. I'm a Mexican Indian. And I really am suspicious of colonialization. Okay, we've been colonized, our lands, our bodies, our minds. And this is the perspective from which I'm coming, is some of it felt like colonialization. And I wanted to have that conversation.
So when you saw this process happening of younger people gravitating toward possibility of transition, this reminded you of the process of colonialization, another parallel process. Thank you for saying that. And I'm wondering if you also wanted to give the benefit somehow, really seeing the value of stopping and considering so many possibilities, and that how that process takes time, and to offer the insights that you've gained.
What I heard you speak on, I really identified as a younger age. So at a younger age, I was questioning myself why I was not born of the opposite sex, because I was attracted to young girls at a young age. So as I grew up, I had to identify with myself, and so I'm comfortable with being what I am now, and I feel that I don't need to change my stature to feel accepted as into what I prefer to like. So for me, I do understand where you're coming from, because I wish I would have had this at a younger age, then I wouldn't question myself so much and have to go see psychologists and wonder, is it okay for me to feel this way? Should I feel this way? Yeah.
I really hear your concern, and I didn't have a lot of my elders around me when I was young, and I wish I had. I don't feel like, I definitely feel pretty secure in my FTM identity, but as for someone who is seeking to be seen by my elders, I hear you saying that you care about us.
Leah, I'm wondering if at this point you feel heard and understood, or if there's something that's still feeling pressing to bring forth on these notes.
Well, I'd like to just appreciate you, Jay, and what you said, for the separation and the division. I don't agree with the separation and division of our communities either. That I want us to find ways to have dialogue. About 12 or 13 years ago, I was on a panel in San Francisco that was made up of FTMs and Butch dykes. And we were trying, to set some kind of a foundation there, because I think it's never helpful to separate ourselves, and it's never helpful to ostracize somebody, and we have to recognize trans folks as part of our community. I really believe we should have our individual spaces and our shared spaces. But I think that we're taking on the oppressor's jobs, to project any kind of hatred or unacceptance towards the trans community. And I just needed to say that.
Thank you for saying that. One of the things about the phenomenon of horizontal hostility or internalized oppression, I remember going to lesbian feminist gatherings in the mid-'80s, and the intense explosions of emotion and like the struggle to contain those. I think that really does happen. And at the same time, we really need a way to bring forth and listen to one another's feelings and needs. And so that's what's driving me to this work, really, frankly, is to try to find a way to do that, because we don't want to say, oh, well, this is just internalized oppression, so let's shut up and go away, but rather what's actually alive in people, and how can we?
Can I say something?
Yeah, please.
I think part of it is this thing that there's some comfort in having labels, in knowing what we're talking about and giving language to what it is we're trying to express.